This is the PR Podcast, a show about how public relations helps you tell your story to the world. We talk with great PR practitioners who have the skills, creativity, and just plain savvy to get their clients noticed. Now here's your host, Jody Fisher.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the PR Podcast. I'm Jody Fisher. Thanks for joining us. Well, we started a new feature here at the top of the podcast. If you've heard the last few episodes, you've already heard it. It's called the PR Podcast Plug. It's where we spotlight a PR pro's passion project. It could be your newsletter, your blog, your Twitter Spaces chat, something you do that you love. And we're not going to spotlight companies. We're not going to spotlight businesses. We're going to spotlight kind of side hustles. You don't have to be making any money out of it. I don't make any money from the PR podcast. I do it because I love it. That's the kind of thing we're talking about. If you want to get plugged, send us a DM at the PR Podcast on Twitter. We will slide you into the top of an upcoming episode to give you a little exposure and a little shout out to that thing you do on the side that brings you joy. It's a great way to promote yourself and to promote the thing that you love and expose that to other people. We also want you to be a guest on the PR Podcast. You can send us a DM on Twitter as well for that. Tell us why you should be a guest. We'll sign you up for a future episode. I say it all the time. We have one episode drops every Monday. That's 52 shows a year, 52 new guests a year. You should be one of them. So please send us a note. We have a lot of terrific guests lined up, but we're always taping. We tape Fridays at 2 p.m. So if that schedule works for you, great. If we need to modify that a little bit, that's great too. But if you have a perspective on how the news gets made, whether you're a PR professional, you are a reporter, an editor, a videographer, a photographer, you manage social media, you do SEO. We've had all types of experts on the PR Podcast. We want to spotlight people and share knowledge here. So if you want to be a guest, like I said, DM us on Twitter at the PR Podcast. Send us a couple of ideas why you think you should be a guest on the show, and we will definitely get you signed up to be a guest. All right, question number one from the Reddit Public Relations subreddit. There's a mouthful. Written by Blush Pink Couch. Says, how to improve my writing. I think I'm missing out on being hired because of my writing. Are there ways to improve my PR writing outside of just writing more? That is the secret. And sending it through a grammar checker. Also, are there any good resources for PR writing formats? I've had a few internships, a few agency writing tests. I'm realizing I still haven't dealt with the full scope of PR writing. Last it says writing test, but I'm blown away at how much content development and other things I'm supposed to complete in a 2-hour time limit. Everyone's perspective is different. I'll give you mine. I think the secret to writing is just more writing. I think, though, you need to write the right kinds of stuff. You need to drill yourself on the right kinds of writing. And in PR, there's all different types of writing. We write press releases. We write pitch letters. We write bylines or column pieces. We may draft social media copy. So I would say if you're going to test yourself, if you're going to drill yourself, do it around either a particular topic where you draft all different types of copy around one piece of subject matter. So a news release, a pitch letter, a byline, social media copy, whatever else it is, around one topic, or pick multiple topics and then drill yourself on the same item for multiple different topics. So 5 news releases on 5 different topics, 5 pitch letters on 5 different topics, et cetera, et cetera. Just give yourself a little bit of grace too, right? This takes time. It's kind of like losing weight. You don't drop 20 overnight. You're not going to become the most brilliant PR writer on the planet overnight. And I would argue that people like me who have been doing this for a long time, we're still learning. We're always learning because it's always changing, because our industry is always changing. So give yourself a little bit of grace. Give yourself a little bit of time. And I would say just, write a little bit every day. Take 15, it shouldn't take long, right? Take 15, 20 minutes, half an hour every day, or maybe an hour every Sunday morning before your day gets going or whatever. And just sit down and write. Learn how to craft stuff, and also look online for examples. There are good and bad examples out there as to, how to effectively write and communicate. I would say that the only wrong way to do it is to confuse the reader. If you are getting your subject matter across, if you're getting your message across in what you're writing, regardless of your format, regardless of the way you write, it's not wrong, right? As long as you're getting that message across. But give yourself a little bit of time, or maybe set a schedule, right? Maybe say, okay, in 30 days, I'm going to become a little bit better writer, and take that 30 days and just keep doing it. But you started in the right place, which is the only way to become a better writer is to keep writing. So good luck. Question number 2 is written, but why 2? And it says, what college you go to affect going into PR? Hi, I'm a college senior who wants to major in public relations in college. Awesome. Currently, I'm trying to decide where I want to go for college and was wondering, does it matter what college you go to get into PR, in both in terms of programs and location? Any advice or thoughts? Great question. You are at the front end of a journey, my friend, and I wish you a lot of luck, first of all. Again, my opinion, I don't know that it matters where you go to college for anything, with a few exceptions, or really specific exceptions. If you're getting a liberal arts degree, I would say go to the place that is most convenient for you in terms of money, in terms of cost, in terms of location. Don't go to a college that you think is the best college, or the college that everyone says is the college you should go to. If it's going to put you in $100,000 worth of debt when you get out, and you can be working that off until you're 50, that's a bad plan, right? That's a financial plan, but that's a bad plan. Obviously you want to go somewhere that you connect with the college, you connect with the faculty. I would say contact the faculty, look them up online, ask them about their program. Don't just take the literature from the college and believe it. Those are written by marketing people who are trying to sell the college. And as exclusive as any college claims that it is, we're in a buyer's market here, my friend. You can go to any college you want as long as you can pay the tuition. They are taking everybody. So because they need everybody, because their enrollment is down because of COVID. Colleges, look, I say this from knowledge. I have college clients, right? And I'm not knocking colleges, but I'm saying it's a buyer's market. You can go to school anywhere you want. So long as you have the credentials, so long as you have the admissions tests, and so long as you can pay the tuition, you can get in. But don't overextend yourself. A public relations degree is a liberal arts degree. It's not engineering. It's not medicine. It's not law. It's not one of those specific places that perhaps matters just a little bit more where you go. Go to a place that you connect with the faculty before you apply. Ask them questions. You'll know if they don't reply to you, or if they take forever to reply to you, maybe that's not the place for you. Go where you're comfortable with. Get into a program that looks good to you, that feels good for you. Ask if you can go sit in on a public relations class. Why not? They should definitely allow you to do that. One class, you should be able to sit in on that. I would say definitely do that, but do your research, just like anything else. Do your research, go check it out, and lots of luck to you. Okay, question number 3, posted by Final Detective 7873. What's something you wished you learned earlier? What advice would you give your younger self about PR? Oh, this is a good one. Okay. Wow. What advice would I give my younger self? Well, let's go back through my career. For those of you who don't know me. All right. So I started out as a radio reporter. I do that for about 6 or 7 years. Bounced around a bunch of different stations in New York City, all the big news stations. Had a terrific career, segued into PR because I wanted what I thought would be a more plannable life. I remember getting, my beeper going off, and I'm dating myself there with my beeper, in the middle of dinner and family functions and things like that, and having to grab my bag and my microphone and run out to a story, only to get to the location and find, oh, the story never materialized, or the fire got put out, or whatever, and never mind, go home. And I just wasted 3 hours and ran from a family function so I could chase a ghost. So that's why I transferred into PR. And I've been doing that for more than 20 years. I've been in-house. I've been at agencies. I find that my personality is better suited to agency life. I found that I just did not like what I felt was the monotony of in-house PR, because it's always dealing with the same client over and over and over again. And I like variety. So I like the spontaneity of agency life. You're always working with different clients. You're ping-ponging across different pieces of subject matter. You're talking to different types of reporters. You're just doing lots of different things. So I think, but I didn't know that without doing those jobs. So I think one thing that I would tell, maybe not that I wish I learned earlier, but that I would tell a young person is go after the thing that you're interested in. Go check that out. I know it's easy to say and hard to do, but don't worry about the money. The money will follow. Find out what you're good at. Figure out what you're good at. Don't be afraid to fail. I have failed a lot. I have had good managers and bad managers. And the good managers taught me the kind of person I wanted to be. And the bad managers taught me exactly who I didn't want to be. Treat people with kindness. Treat people with kindness. Always, always, always. We have all run into people who are just flat out jerks. Avoid them. Avoid the people who tell you you can't make it. Avoid the people who say that's a dumb idea. Avoid the people who just put you down, because what they're doing is they're not confident in themselves. And so they're going to take you down to make themselves feel better. Don't listen to those people. Listen to the people, listen to the constructive criticism. Listen to the people who are trying to help you. Even if the help maybe feels a little rough, it's okay as long as it's delivered, with sincerity. I would say that it's okay, right? Find good mentors, find people you admire, who you think do good work, and chain yourself to them, and follow their example, learn from them, ask them questions, take initiative, get feedback. Volunteer for things that maybe no one else wants to do. You don't have to be a lapdog, but step up, step up. PR is the industry of asking a lot of people for stuff, asking people to write an article, asking people to do a TV report, asking people to put you on the radio, on and on and on, right? And a lot of times you get told no. We get told no, 75, 80% of the time, PR peeps, back me up here. We get told no a lot. It's kind of like Babe Ruth hitting home runs. You strike out an awful lot, but when you hit the big ones, they're really good. They feel really good, and the clients love you for it. So just go after what you want. Don't take no for an answer. And chain yourself to good mentors and let them teach you. I think that's the advice that I would give. All right. And our last question for this week. And I picked this one because it was inspiring. What does public relations mean to you? This is a discussion written on Reddit, and it simply says, looking for something simple and creative. So I'm going to read a couple of the responses here before I give my own. One person writes here, reconstructing reality. It seems a little cynical to me. Another person writes, what other people say about you. What does public relations mean to you? What other people say about you? That's absolutely true. There's that old joke. And I think we're on a podcast here, so I can tell the racy version. The difference between marketing and public relations. Marketing is walking into a party and telling everybody else how good you are in bed. Public relations is walking into a party and having everybody else talk about how good you are in bed. That's really it. It's motivating people to tell your story about you. And here's someone else writes, storytelling, at least good PR is. Yes, you are absolutely right. Tater Tot 94 on Reddit. That was a great response. Something else that I think public relations means and can mean to clients. And I said this kind of accidentally to a client one time, but it's really stuck with me, and it's absolutely true. Public relations is writing your history. Think about just Google News, right? When you are doing research about anything, you Google somebody, right? You look them up online. And typically us PR people, we'll go straight over to the news tab and we'll start reading news articles that have been written about that client, that prospect, that whoever it is that we're doing research on. That's their history. And that got put there because a reporter wrote about it. And probably that reporter wrote about it after interacting in some way with a public relations professional, whether they were in-house or they were at an agency, whatever was going on. there was probably a PR pro involved in the creation of any one or many of those news articles. That's what we do. We help clients write their history, because you're doing this thing today. And this is what I tell clients. You're doing this thing today. You're launching this product. You're having this event. You're doing whatever you do, putting out this press release. 3 years from now, this is going to be your history. This is going to be what people find about you online when they type into Google your name. What do you want them to read? What do you want them to know? What do you want them to see 3, 5, 10 years from now about you? PR is writing, because the stuff that ends up about you out there is your history. So take good care of it. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this week. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Please remember to subscribe to the show. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The PR Podcast, and send us a question or a comment. Our intro is by Christopher Appold. You can find him and his fantastic photography on Instagram at Christopher_APPOLDT. Check him out there and hire him for all your photography needs. You can find me online at Jody Fisher on all the socials, and online on the web at jodyfisherpr.com. We'll see you next time on the PR Podcast.